Okay, in this stage, I'm going to model one of the knobs. So, because the knobs are distinctive, there's two different knobs here. The knob here on the right, which if I zoom in as close as this will allow me to zoom in, I can see that it's beveled up the edge, and then it's moved, it's inset a little bit, and then it's kind of pushed in, and inset a little bit more, and then it is inset again and beveled up. And then there's this extra piece. I'm actually going to model this piece right here. I'm going to model separate from the round parts. But let's go ahead and get the round parts going first. So I'm going to actually window my screen so I can keep the this image off to the side here. So I want to be able to refer to that while I'm doing this, and line myself up in the general correct spot here. Switch to my front viewport and zoom in on this. And I'm going to have to turn off polygons. I can't have anything selected here because I do not want to work on the box anymore. It's going to be a whole new object. So I'm going to click on the Create tab, and I'm going to create a cylinder, and I'm going to just basically draw a cylinder here about in the right position. And I've made the cylinder. I'll right-click to end the tool, and I'll call this left knob. So the name of it's going to be left knob, and the N does not necessarily have to be capitalized. It could be a lowercase n. I'm going to press the W key to get the move tool. Press the W key to get the move tool and kind of move it down into position. Let me see here. Yeah, it should be over a little bit. It's a little on the big size. Should be down a little bit in size. And so now it's actually low on that. So I could make it a little larger. And then push this down. Yeah, I'm happy with that. That's about in the right spot. And left, right, that's about good. Okay, I'm happy with that positioning. So I'm going to switch to the perspective viewport now and realize that, oh, my knob is currently stuck inside of my television. So I'll grab the little Y stick and make it poke through. And I'm going to notice something here. I'll zoom on this. It's got all these height segments. Totally unnecessary. We could take that down to just one. We only need one height segment. I would like to make it a little bit rounder because right now it's a little choppy on the edges. So I'm going to give it 24 sides. Just makes it look a little bit nicer, gives a little bit more roundness to it. And then I need to plug it into the TV. So there we go. It's plugged into the TV, and I'm ready to start. Now, this thing from its base to its top, it's kind of beveled. And so we can actually create that fairly easily. I'm going to switch to the Select Object tool, and my left knob does not need to have a W on the end of its name. I will right-click it, and I will convert it to an editable poly. Now that it's an editable poly, I can get my hands on its individual parts, like that polygon on the very front of it. And I'll press my R key to get the scale tool, and then I will scale this in. And not only will I scale it in, see here, scaling it in, I'm also going to move it. Ooh, what's going on here? There we go. Need to make sure I find the right stick to move it. I want to bring that up a little bit, and I will scale it down a little bit further. And let me see from my front viewport and back to perspective. I'm pretty happy with that. Now I'm going to turn off the scale tool so that I just have the polygon selected. And here I'm going to create this flat surface here. To create that flat surface here at the edge, I'm going to do an inset. So I'll click the inset menu, and man, it inset way too far. I'll go more slowly. Yeah, that's about good right there. Switch to the front viewport. I can see, look over my reference image. Maybe I'll push it a little bit more. Maybe that's too much. All right, I'm happy with that. We'll leave it at that. Switch back to perspective. All right, so now that's got that flat surface right there. Now from here, I need to come in another, so there's going to be a little bit of a gap here. So this is like a dark ring right here. I can create that by putting in another smaller inset, like this one's 0.16. So if I made this like 0.6, whoa, 0.06, pardon me, 0.06. That would make a nice little thin ring there. And now I'm going to need another inset to come here to this middle knob. So I'll hit the inset button again, and this time I'll run the value up. This one's going to come in a ways. I'm happy with that. Maybe I went a little too far. Hit the green button. And now I'm into this inner circle right here. So I believe that this is raised up a little bit. It looks like it's got an edge, like it's raised up a little bit right here. So I'm going to click the extrude tool, and an extrusion of 10 would make this thing look like Pinocchio. So we'll take that down a notch, and we're not going to extrude it that much. I think that should be plenty. 0.14, plenty of an extrusion. And then from there, it does bevel up. So I'm going to bevel this thing up. So I'll hit the bevel tool, and again, I get this crazy huge bevel, which I definitely do not want. So I'm going to zero out both pieces, and oops, went backwards. Bevel up like about that much, and then bringing this in. I'm going a little too far. Yeah, pretty happy with it. Pretty happy with it. I'm going to unclick the polygon. I'm going to right click here, and I'm going to hide unselected. That's going to make the whole TV case go away. So all I can see here now is my button, and see how it's coming together. But yeah, it's looking pretty good here. All right. Now on the top of this button, I want to put this piece right here, which it looks like it's got some detail to its shape. I'm gonna have to approximate this because it's kind of hard to see here clearly what I'm looking at. But it's obvious that it's there's some structure here. It looks like it's like square at the base and then it comes up here. So let me see if I can fake this here. Get on the Create tab. I want to make a box, and just kind of line it up. Oops. Switch to the front viewport. There we go. In the front viewport, there we go. I get to line it up just right. So it's lined up pretty much just right. I'll switch back to perspective, and what I'm going to find is that it got made way back there. But if I grab the Y stick, I'm going to push it right into place. And I'm going to have to do a little modding to it. Switch to the Modify tab, and I'll call this the knob turn. Knob turner. Okay, there we go. That'll work. And the positioning of this, I want to bring it down to where it's kind of going through the top of, because I believe it makes contact with this face right here. It makes contact with that face. And so I want it to make contact with that face here. And then mine is a little bit on the long side. So let's bring it down in length. It looks like it's inset a little bit. And then its height. Bringing its height up. But you know what? It does have a kind of it looks like it's got a part that's kind of like flat like this at the bottom. So yeah, flat like that at the bottom. And then I want to set myself up right off the bat with the segments I need. Let me see which ones. There we go. With segments. give it 3 width segments. This time I do want to have some detail across the top, some lines already built into it. So I'm giving it 3 width segments. And now that I've pretty much got its structure set up, I'm going to right click it and I'm going to convert it to an editable poly. And now it's no longer a box, it's an editable poly. And the nice thing is I'll be able to get my hands on the polygon, and in particular, that polygon. Click the extrude tool and zero that out. I don't want to extrude quite that much. I want to extrude it to where it's making contact with the top. There we go. It's just breaking the top right there. So, yeah. I think that's what I'm looking at here. I think that's what I'm looking at in this picture right here. So, it gives a place for your thumb to get wedged up against there so that you can turn the knob easily. And I may just go with that, just the way that it is right there. All right. Now the last thing I want to do here is to kind of color this thing up, to color it up. So most of it's going to get gold, but some of it's going to get some dark. Like I'm going to want like a ring of darkness going around right through right here. And I might have even wanted to create a ring of darkness right there. So let me turn off the polygons here on this one. And let me grab, I'm going to turn off ignore back facing. And let me see, I want the knob selected. I'm going to right click and hide unselected, which will make that other piece go away, which is currently getting in the way of what I would like to do. And I'll turn off the move tool. And I want to pick all these polygons right here. Let me just make sure I got that one in the back, but I didn't turn off ignore back facing. Let me turn off ignore back facing. And then now, good, got them all. And let me see what happens if I click inset. Yeah, good. I can. And I want to go just the smallest amount, like a 0.05 inset right there. And I'll click OK. Good. That just gave me some extra, so I can get that dark line in there, that dark line. So both of these dark lines can be put in as their own material, just to make them stand out. Now with this knob, I want to create selection sets. So, most of this thing I want to paint gold. I have no doubt about that. So I could select this whole thing, turn off ignore back facing, and then select the whole thing. It's okay to get the whole thing. And then I want to deselect the stuff that I don't want part of this. The stuff that I want to color black, now I will deselect by clicking with my Alt key. And that will just be these polygons. And this is about the easiest way that I can come up with pulling this off. And then I'll show you an interesting selection technique. Let me get these on the inside here. Oops. Control key, get that one back. Alt key. If I zoom in, I'll have a bigger target. Oh, but I hit another one. Control key, get that back. Alt key. All right. Now, what I currently have selected, this is the part that I'm going to paint gold, so I'll just call this gold. And then what I'm going to do here is on this menu, there's this one, edit and select invert. Select invert, what it does is it selects everything that I don't currently have selected on the object. At the moment, I got all those polygons selected. When I pick select invert, I end up getting those 2 rings that I would like to now create as my selection set for dark. So they're going to get dark applied to them. So very quickly, I set up those selection sets. Let's see, I have another customer over here. And then to wrap this up, I will open up the material editor, and I'll just go ahead and use my shell for those colors. I'll switch to the gold, and I'll use my gold for that. And I'll close my material editor and right click and unhide all. Let me select this piece, because this piece is also going to get painted gold. Get my material editor, paint it gold, the knob turner. So the knob turner should have got painted gold. And now if I back out of this and take a look and do a render on this and see how is it turning out, is it looking okay? Pull those all over. I squeeze my window here, and yeah, I got a pretty good looking knob. I might want to change my colors instead of using the same color as that background, although they do look very similar. But it just would give me a better contrast if I used a slightly different color. For my purposes right now, though, I'm pretty happy with it. I'm happy with my knob, and I'm going to call this one a wrap for that first knob.